Hey sis, hey. Welcome to the Must Be the Mental podcast with Shaaree. This is the space where black women come to heal, be seen, and stop suffering in silence. I'm Shaaree McCalpine, licensed therapist, speaker, and your mental health bestie. So grab your favorite beverage and let's talk about it. Hey y'all, hey. You already know this is Shaaree, your mental health bestie, and we are about to get into it. You already know what it is. We talk to real women, black women, about real life issues and real life coping strategies to help other people to understand that they are not alone. We are walking through this thing together. So y'all gonna hear some real talk, some others, but it is what it is. Y'all need to grab your beverage. You already know I love my cup from Cecilia's. Whatever you put in your cup is your business. That's on you. I literally today just got water because I'm feeling that January cleanse type of thing. So I got water. Today is one of my dearest friends. We have known each other for years. I can't even put a time frame on it. I think we just had a reunion, but we went to school together, high school, and she is a phenomenal black woman that when y'all get finished with this episode, you're going to be like, dang, how do I get in touch with her? How do I know her? She is a mother. She is a wife. She is in the corporate world. She is an author. She is spoken word. She's a creative. Like, y'all, this girl, I don't even know how she got all the time in a day to do all that. Why they be like you, everybody get the same 24 hours. I think she out here being magical or something. I think she got a little bit more than 24 hours, but we have found out what that means. Y'all, put your hands together, get ready to talk to my girl. Her name is Lettice Crawford, y'all. Hey, TC.
Hey, Shar, how are you?
I'm doing so good. Y'all. Before we came on, we were talking about children. And I think I mentioned to y'all on several occasions that I have two adult children that I love. Like I always want to be somebody's mother. And I wanted a whole big family. So I wanted 8 kids. Thankfully, the Lord intervened and was like, sis, sit yourself down. That's not your destiny. We're not doing that. So, TC, how are you doing as far as motherhood? Is that something that you've always wanted to do, or you just fell into the role?
Well, I fell into it, even though I knew it is something that I wanted to do. So I have three adult children. My son is the oldest. He's 36 now. So that's telling a little bit about how old we are.
Right.
Then my middle child, my oldest daughter, she'll be 30 on the 26th of this month. So happy birthday, Cece.
Happy birthday, Pookie.
And she is getting married this year. So I'm so excited. Nice. I'm so excited for her, but I'm excited to be the mother of the bride.
Okay, cool.
So that's coming up in August. And then my youngest is 26. That's my daughter. Yeah, that's she's the grown baby.
How do you manage that? Like, you got 3 grown adult children, and for me, sometimes it's hard not to navigate their lives because I know, like, okay, you going down that road, it's gonna be bad for you. Like, listen to me. How do you navigate letting them be them without taking away from the motherhood? Like, I want to stop you from making that bad decision.
Yeah. So my lesson came from, I'm going to go back years when my son was, he was a teenager. So I want to say he was 17, 18 at that time. And so he was getting in trouble in high school at that time. And I always wanted to be the help, of course.
Right.
And I can go back to a time when he was here. I went in his bedroom, and it was at nighttime. He was asleep. And the Lord told me to go in the bedroom because I was praying over my entire house. And I didn't want to go in because I knew how disturbed he get when, his sleep is interrupted.
Right. Okay.
But the Lord told me to go. And so I went in, and he sat straight up in the bed and looked at me and then laid back down and went to sleep. And I'm like, okay, Lord, do this.
Right.
So I went in and prayed over his entire room, prayed over him and everything, and then left and did the rest of the house. But I'm saying that to say, I end up having to put my son out of the house when he was 17, 18 years old. And it wasn't me, but it was me following the lead of the Lord, because at that time I wasn't working. So I had the time to help him. I had the ability, and I wanted to be there to be the help to him that he was allowing me to be.
Okay.
But I ended up having to put him out, and it was the Lord's doing. And from that time is when he really grew. Because I can remember a time when he didn't have a transportation. He had moved in with his cousin, and he had called me, and he wanted to know how did he get to. No, he wanted a ride to his. I'm telling a little bit of his business, but he was on probation. He was on probation at the time.
Because listen, part of his story is your story too. So
yeah, you're right. You're right. So he wanted to get to his probation appointment, and I went into prayer, and the Holy Spirit was like, "No, don't do it." Now I had transportation, I had the time because I wasn't working, but he told me don't do it, so I didn't. So my son was calling and asking me, and I had to get out the bus route, and let's figure out how do you get there on the bus. So that was really a growing time for me, because I had to trust what God was telling me to do, to take my hands off and let him grow, let him learn on his own. That yes, I could be mother, but mother, part of being a mother is learning to say no sometimes.
Yeah, girl, that's hard than a mug, right? Like, let my baby suffer? Oh no.
Exactly. But so I didn't talk to him the next day. He called me a couple days later, and I asked him, well, how did your appointment go? And he told me, it went well and stuff. So that let me know that he got there. He made it there and back. And so it's just it was just a lot of learning to trust the Lord with my children and learning to let go at the right times. And even now with them being, so my oldest, he's here, and I have a grandbaby. Yes, so she's 7 years old. Her name is Winter with a Y, not an I.
Okay,
and, so he's home, and he's been here for a couple of years now, and my youngest is home.
Okay.
And so with having them here, now it's like total hands off for me. And I put my energy in the grandbaby where it should be, because I get to have fun now.
Yep, right.
Yeah,
you know a lot now. You know a lot now.
Exactly.
You know some stuff back then, but now, shoot, okay, I know what this looks like.
Exactly. So I put my time into her mostly now, and it's not that they don't need me, but it's changed. My mothering has changed from them being little kids to now being adults, and it should be a change, because now they're finding their own way, making their own path. And I get a chance to sit back and help them if they need help, but just glory in the fact that they're doing it. Exactly, they are doing it.
You know what hit my ear is when you said that you were walking through your home and you was praying over your home, and then you were praying over your son. When did this glory of the Lord, or even the knowing, the spiritual part, the trusting, when did that come into play for you? Was that at a young age? Did it just evolve? Like, what happened for you?
Yeah, so I accepted Christ at an early age. But when I got in my 20s, girl, I was doing my own thing. right, living it up with my own way. I was like, Lord, who?
Right. Like, wait, what? Exactly. Yep.
So I really came back to him. I was probably mid to late 30s at that time. When you know how he calls you.
Yep. Yep.
But he lets you come at your own time. So I know he was calling me because, girl, I was doing things that
listen, if we had social media back there, they would have been like, girl, you don't got no right to be on this thing talking or doing nothing. Like, what? It's an amazing process to be able to evolve. And I love what you said, because a lot of our people, young people that are crashing out now, is because their life is so lived out in front of so many people. So there's always so much judgment. Like, if they make a mistake, it's so judged by so many people. Like, if we made a mistake, it probably could have been hidden. It would have just been me and you, because we was the only ones there. I don't know that they have that same kind of process of, if me and you go somewhere, it's me and you. But if they go somewhere, it's me, you. I was gonna say Netflix. I'm tripping. I meant like Facebook,
social media, everything.
So once you then knew that you were always called, like, predestined, but then coming into it fully, is that when you had children? Is that when you fully accepted and embraced? How did that look?
So I had my children at that time. And it was a beckoning in my heart that I knew I wasn't on the right path, just far as really following the Lord. I knew it even when he wasn't telling me or speaking to me.
Right. Exactly.
So it was a warning in me to be right with him.
Okay.
And so I found a church home at that time that I can grow in, that I could really learn who I am, first of all, and then who I am as a child of God, and then learn how do I translate that into every area of my life. So as a mother, as a professional, as a wife, in all the areas of my life, how does that look of being a child of God? Right. And so, and then, like I said, it's kind of different because it's different in every area, in the sense, like my kids, okay, Lord said, hands off, I got this. You got to let me, you got to let them choose me. But when, with my husband and being a wife, it was very much, all of me being who God had created me to be as a wife.
And so, was that like, for some people, or even people that don't have that, I think we all had a calling, but it might not be mentally in a space to navigate towards it. But how was that for you, navigating your calling, your husband, the kids, working? How? Because I don't believe there's a thing called balance, and some people do. Like, it's just me talking right now. I feel like it's a priority. Like, everything has to be prioritized. It's going to be God, then the family, and then the things that I have to do in those spaces. But you being a person that's working, got 3 kids, and because you said they were like 36, 30, and then the younger one. So they were kind of like toddlers all at the same time. You being a wife, being in those spaces where you have to kind of shape shift. How did you navigate that whole lifestyle? Like, that's a heavy thing.
Yeah, that's a great question. You know what? I think I was on autopilot, really.
Okay.
I just did what needed to be done and didn't even realize that's the stage that I was in. I just managed it all. And I realize now that that wasn't healthy for me.
Right.
But I didn't know anything else but to be that way. You know, looking at my mom, looking at my grandma, you know, they did it all.
Yeah.
So I think it's just part of how, and I'm going to say for me, but I think also as women and women of color, we take on those characteristics of our parent, our moms, our grandmas, our great grands, and we see them doing it all. So that's all I knew at the time, is that I do it. And it wasn't any thought about it. It's just I knew it had to be done. And so I did it.
Yeah.
Now I know better.
That's one of my things when I talk to people or workshops or groups, is that we didn't know that it wasn't like when people be like, oh, you was poor. You didn't know that, because what's poor when you in a situation where everybody is doing the same thing. When you step out of it, then that's when you be like, dang, everybody not doing that. Some people get to chill and relax. Everybody not out here struggling or figuring it out. Like, when did that become a thing? But I love that you said, I didn't know, but I knew that I had to get it done. Now, knowing that there's that shift of I had to get it done, but now I know different. How does that translate to your 30-year-old you, but she your daughter? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we recreate us into our smaller form. So what have you told her as Lettice when I was 30 that now I'm telling her, if I could have held my 30-year-old self, now I can hold my 30-year-old daughter? What are you telling her as far as how it looks different from survival to living in a space that's created for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So let me just say, my 30-year-old, she's probably a wiser 30-year-old than I was then.
Exactly, yes.
She helped me onto some stuff.
Girl, you are not telling no stories. My granddaughter be giving me the tea. I be like, girl, you is 15. How do you know to think that? Like, what?
Right. But for her, so we had our TIFF when she was, I want to say 16, 17, where we just could not get on the same page about anything. I just remember some really tough times, you know, just trying to relate with her. And we came out of that stage as she got in her, I want to say, early to mid 20s. I think it was a part of her maturing, but a part of me maturing also.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, and she is like, I'm like her biggest fan.
Exactly.
She's a really great confidant, because I have shared some things with her in learning how to be, how to step out that mom and daughter relationship and realize that it's a younger woman to older woman.
Yeah.
Ooh, are we older women?
Yeah, for sure. You still gonna be my child, but it's an adult I'm talking to you. So it's a mind shift of you still my child, but you are an adult doing adult things. And if I want to get in there, then I have to change how I talk to you. What's the thing? You're not my little friend. Like, my daughter is my best friend now. Like, I told her stuff like, wait a minute, should I be telling her this?
Yes, exactly. We have had those conversations. And the thing is that she give me some good advice.
Because she over there standing on business like, no, I ain't doing that. That was back when y'all was that age. I ain't doing that now.
Right. But I do really appreciate her and where our relationship has grown to. And that's how it should be. our relationship should be maturing and shifting to a different stage.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take anything from where we were, but it's just recognizing who we are now. We've grown now. We've matured in some ways. Like I said, there's some things that she can share with me and things that I share with her that we can learn and grow and groom from.
Yeah.
So that is interesting.
You were talking about being in the space of doing all the things. A lot of times when we are working, we don't take the time to figure out what we like and how we want things to do, the consideration of self. How did you navigate to still be somebody's mother, be somebody's wife, go to work, still be in the church, still do all the things, but still be TC, Lettice? How did you navigate to this point, to the person I'm seeing now?
Yeah. So I want to say my wake-up call came in 2022. So that was just, a few years ago.
A while ago, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a grown woman, but yet I'm still learning and still learning about me.
Yeah.
But I tell you what happened. So it was the last week in 2022 where I was sick in the bed. My daughters had to come take care of me. And that was probably like maybe my fourth major sickness in my lifetime, because I'm not one that gets sick. I'm the one that's taking care of everybody else that's sick.
Right. Yep.
But I remember I was down that last week of that year for 5 days and I couldn't do nothing. I had COVID and everything. It was just look. Yeah. And so when I came out of it, it was the beginning of 2023.
Okay.
And I asked the Lord, what was that about?
Yeah.
And the Holy Spirit did answer me to say that I need to get rest and rest. And the first rest was my physical rest. Yeah. So, girl, I did not discover naps and how good they was into 2023. And I've been napping ever since. I am not kidding. I was just going through the motions of being wife and mother and, all those things that I didn't even know I should be incorporating naps as part of my life. So I started them in 2023 and still love them to this day.
Yeah.
So that was the first rest of getting my physical rest. Okay. And naps were part of it. But the second thing the Holy Spirit told me was about resting in Him. So when I'm up and I'm going, I'm looking for His direction. I'm pausing for a minute to hear what He has to say about where I'm going, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, who I am, all of that. And so that really changed me in 2023.
Yeah.
So I didn't share. So I had got married in 2005.
Okay, 05. Okay. Yes. So many numbers, we can't even figure out what they look like.
Exactly. So I was married in 05 to my husband James. We dated for a couple of years before we got married. And a year after, in 2006, he became ill. He had renal kidney failure, and we did not know.
That's a lot. That is a lot.
It was a big transition in our world, in our relationship, in just everything. But he immediately went on to dialysis, and I tell a little bit about the story of how the Lord used that time in my life caring for my husband to go from just being a wife to being a godly wife. And so I'm just going to show my book, From Me to We and Beyond. So this is where I share how the Lord took me from just being a wife to a godly wife, because it is a difference.
Girl, you better talk about it, because it's a difference. The very beginning, because you barely was a bride, in the sense of it's only been a year before it changed, and you didn't even get the chance to settle in and be like, okay, we in the honey, let's have you immediately, well, I won't say immediately, but it turned into something that was unexpected, where now you're not just a wife, you have to be a caregiver as well. So I know that had to be hard for him as well, to have his wife now being his caregiver. And now you're talking about, because that's not easy for, I don't know how to, just a regular person, but if you didn't have the Lord with you to change into that godly perspective of this is what I do, because you know, we be ready to be like, this too much, I'm out, bye.
Yes.
So how did you transition into that piece of, dang, I'm still supposed to be here?
Yeah. And just speak to your point, I have had so many people that I've encountered who have told me about women who, you know, had the option to care for their husband, and they chose not to.
Yeah.
And they would just, you know, they would tell me, like my plumber, you know, I had him telling me about when he was sick and how his wife just told him that she couldn't do it. And I was just like, you know, that was new for me, because when I got married, I knew that I wanted it to be a lifetime.
Okay.
And so that's part of why, you know, I really just surrendered to the Lord about how he sees a wife being, as opposed to doing it my own way.
For you, it doesn't sound like it was about, even though I know you were loving your husband and it was the vows that you took, but it was more about the commitment that the Lord gave you to take care of, because you said, I knew that the Lord. So maybe that in your perspective, is it a difference when you say a godly wife, that I'm not only doing what I'm doing onto my husband with the vows, I'm doing this onto the Lord as a God vow? Is that something that is what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because I'm sorry, I gotta laugh at myself. So I was just a wife because in the beginning it was all about me.
Okay.
I wanted a husband that could get on a get on a ladder and change a light bulb and things like that. But when my husband got sick, he couldn't do those things anymore. And I mean, it really set me back. I'm like, okay, Lord, I didn't sign up for this. But he was like, yeah, you did.
Right. Lettice, you know what, to circle around, because I know some stuff in speaking of your book, and when you talked about just now of Lord, these were the things that I wanted from a husband, the characteristics of taking this stuff off of me, changing light bulbs, cleaning up, doing all these pieces. You talked a little bit about it wasn't a cakewalk, that when you said it was about me. What about that story that led up to your book about you and your husband and the seasoning? I don't want to give it away.
Okay.
Just talk about it.
Yes. So one of the things, my husband, he was a pepper person. He loved pepper on his food. I never cooked with pepper up until I met him. But I just want to say, we were like 3 years into the marriage when I knew he liked pepper on his food, and I still was not cooking on it. I would prepare his breakfast, his meals, his eggs and things, and I would give him the plate, and he would just grab the pepper and put the pepper on the eggs. Even though I knew that he had told me this, and it was one time I was in the kitchen cooking, and it was just like, I'm a God girl, just in the sense that now I've surrendered to the Lord and the Holy Spirit speaks to me that it was just like the Holy Spirit bringing to my remembrance that he likes pepper on his eggs. But I was in year 3 of our marriage at that time. And so I grabbed the pepper and I cooked it into the eggs this time.
Right.
But it took really that moment for me to come to the realization that part of being a wife is serving my husband the way that he wants to be served.
Right.
Not the way I want to serve him. And what was the big deal of me not putting pepper on his food while it's being cooked?
Right.
So, that was really a big wake-up call for me about just how much I had to learn about being selfless as a wife, as opposed to being selfish. Yeah, and so from that point on, I was putting the pepper in his eggs.
Girl, every time I hear that story, I am cracking up because I've never heard of nobody not putting pepper. Like, what? When you said pepper, I'm like, I wonder, does she mean like bell peppers? When you was talking about just regular, y'all, I'm talking about regular black pepper, not white pepper, not Himalayan pepper. This girl talking about regular black pepper. Like, I was baffled, but I know her husband was like, what?
And you know what? I don't know where I got that from because I'm sure my grandma and my mom cooked with pepper. I'm sure they did.
Tell me in that space would have had me screaming. Because I'm almost 60, so it was a space where I didn't know about mental wellness, mental health, the support system. It's always been a space of people feeling like because you are a tad above them, that they don't have nothing for you. Like you can't be supported because they feel like you already got the things going on that you need, especially when you are, the word we usually throw around is strong, but it's more so you just do it, like you said, because it's got to be done. If I just sit here, what's going to happen? I kind of want to know from you, now that your husband is sick, you got the kids, you're still working at this time. How was the support circle for you? Were you able to reach out? Were you able not only to reach out, but to accept if it was given? What did that look like for you?
Yeah, support circle. That is key. I did not have a support circle. And part was my own fault because I was just so used to doing it all. It was on autopilot for me to be that way. So there was no, I did this on my own, struggling in the process to keep my, to keep my mental and physical and all that health up to par, because I was just used to going and I was just used to doing it. Yeah. So I had mentioned that in January 2023, after, coming out of that sickness and the Lord told me to rest and rest, that was my change. Okay. So that was the year that I got a caregiver, just a support to help with my husband. Yeah. So even if I was home, I told her, act like I'm not here.
Right.
Just if he needs something, take care of it, do it. Just act like I'm not here. Now, most of the times I would leave purposely just so I could just walk the mall or just do something just so I could, focus on me and have my mental health time in a sense. I didn't call it that at that time, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
And that 2023 year really changed the whole cycle and pattern that I was on.
Yeah.
And so she would come over a couple times a week and she would just sit with him, whatever he needed, she would take care of. and it was she would come a day on a weekend. So that was the day where I would just get out and I would just walk at the mall, or I'd just do something that was just for me. But yeah, it took all those years of our marriage for me to come to the understanding that I am important
Yep.
and I need to focus on me in this whole big picture. So
Yeah.
yes, family is important too, but
Mhm.
there has to be time that we focus on ourselves. And it's not selfish,
No.
but we have to be intentional about it because
Mhm.
it's important that we get that. But
Yeah,
yeah, I just found that out in 2023 after
girl.
being down.
It's so crazy because what we learn now is that for me and doing this work and learning who I am and changing into this person, like I said, at almost 60 years old,
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is each time an experience happens, it changes the version of you so that you
Mm,
are a better version or you are a
yes.
repeated version. So it sounds like now you, when you got the combination of the spirit and learning and being in a space with your husband and this big experience change that it gave you a different version of you and moving along that vein of a new version of you because and again I'm so sorry, like I want to give you a little hug. When did your husband pass away?
Yeah, yeah. So 2023 is when, I got the revelation that rest and rest had to be incorporated in my life. And he passed away in January of 2024. And
Okay.
I believe I needed to get that lesson of rest and rest because if I was still going through my the motion of, I could take care of it all. I could take care of him while I'm still working and taking care of everything else.
Hmm.
And he passed away, I probably would be under a rock right now
Yeah.
today because
Hmm.
I thought it was in my control, in my power. I thought I was the one.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I really, really thank the Lord for giving me that experience in 2023. And I'm coming to an understanding of, oh no, I need time for me. So let's get a caregiver in this house
Hmm.
to help alongside. So that really that helped me when he passed away because it was unexpected. He had been in the hospital for a week
Okay.
and things had really changed. It was on the upside
Hmm.
um, from what he had went in there for. And so, yeah, when he passed, it was just like, what?
Right.
Because I got a call from the hospital early in the morning, and I went I went up to the hospital, and he was gone when I got there. So yeah, it was heartbreaking, but without me having that experience to rest in the Lord, I
Hmm.
would have been crushed. And I thank the Lord, He gave me that experience so that I can rest in Him
Yes.
while I was going through all the things of prepping a funeral and putting my
Love
husband to
that.
rest.
I love that the Lord, the Holy Spirit, gave you that blanket that some people don't get
Mm,
before the tragedy or the thing happens. So then now they're stuck in the space of what's next? What if I could have? What didn't I do? The shoulda, woulda, couldas. But you were
mm,
able to get that rest in yourself and the Lord to be like, okay, this is coming. Let's get prepared for it. Now, with that being said, after everything settles down, because there are people there when it's like everything got to get done in that moment. We got to get these things
mhm.
done. And then when you get a chance to just settle in by yourself, what did that look like? Are you still working? Are you still taking care of the grandbaby? Are you still doing all the pieces, or are you resting and figuring out what does my life look like next? What happened?
Yeah, all of the above. So immediately, so what I did first after my husband passed away, so I did not take my funeral leave time until after the funeral.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I knew I wanted to rest. I wanted to focus on just taking it all in and being able to take the next step. So I purposely scheduled my time away from work after the funeral and all that was over with. I went to my brother's house. He has a house in Alabama, and he backs up to a horse farm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I told them, don't change your schedule, go to work and everything. So most of the time during the days, I was at the house by myself, and I used to sit at the window, and it was this one horse that would come out early in the AM by itself.
Okay.
And all the horses the rest of the horses would come out later, maybe like an hour later.
Mm-hmm.
And I just took it that I know it sounds crazy, but that horse was telling me, like, it represented me. Like,
yeah, okay.
It did. Like, you have to take time for yourself before you get in with the crowd.
Yeah.
And so every morning I would get up, and it would just be me and that horse, and I would just sit sometimes and just look out the window, or I would read, or just whatever. So I took that time, but then,
and I hope that you put that in something, on a blurb in your the fact when you were talking about the horse coming out, and it's like, oh, I love how he came out before you fit into the crowd. Just being by yourself was good. I didn't want you to skip past that, because a lot of times we talk about just sitting with the Lord or sitting by ourselves, but sometimes you don't get that luxury because you got to get right up and get to work and not have that gentle morning. But I love that comment you just made, how the horse made you or reminded you that you don't have to rush to fit into the daily bustle and hustle. So that make sure you, like, I'm putting that on something, because you take your time before you start fitting into the crowd is
insane. Yeah. So I spent a week there at my brother's house. Then when I came home that summer, I took 4 trips. Okay. I took a bus trip to Niagara Falls. I went to my husband's family home in Atlanta, and it was a couple more places I did during the summer. And I purposely was going because I didn't know at that time I had kind of like zoned out. I was here, but I wasn't here. Yeah. You know, I was here physically, but mentally I had checked out. Right. So that was my summer of 2023. And when it came to the fall in September, I was introduced to a grief share class. So the organization is called Grief Share, and it's a 13-week class. And that's the class where it helped me to realize all the what they call the cycle of
the cycle of grief, the nuance.
Yes, the cycle of grief. And then I could pinpoint, when I was angry at the doctors, and just all the different stages I could pinpoint, and that really helped me to come back to myself. Yeah. So that was a blessing for me to even go through and realize all that I had gone through that year, all the different feelings and the changes that I had at the time when I was going through them. I didn't realize. But at that moment through that class, it really helped me, and that got me back to myself in a sense. And I could, and then I could, pick up the pieces of who I am in this new stage of my life and go on.
Yep. And
so I'm still experiencing the newness of it all.
Yeah, as you should. Like each stage, like I said, every time something happens that's big, it changes the version of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have to relearn her again. I know that people are so big on self-love. I'm the person that's on that self-like thing. Like, you can
Mm-hmm.
love yourself all day. We love people that we don't even know, but
Yeah.
liking yourself is a whole different kind of ball game. And in this world where it's so many sound bites and, oh, don't pay attention to your emotions, you shouldn't be so into your feelings. You have to be. If you negate those pieces, then you're negating your experience and who you are. I want to get
Mm-hmm.
into you in this book because it's so many people that have the idea, let's write the book from me to we. Let's write the book, but then stuff happens where we don't make it come to fruition. It may sit in your heart for years before you actually put pen to paper and decide, like, I got to get this out here because it's somebody begging to know what I need. How did that process happen that now we actually have the physical copy of your heart on paper to help somebody else? How did that come about?
Yes, and I'm laughing because it's I keep mentioning the Lord, but it's just all the Lord's doing. So after I took that grief share class in September of 2024,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting and the Holy Spirit asked me, when you gonna finish the book? And I'm like, what book? Because the thing is, I wrote the first chapter of the book, which talks about how me and my husband met. I wrote that 3 years prior.
Oh.
And then life got in the way and I put the book down. So the Holy Spirit asked me, when you going to finish the book? And I'm like, what you mean finish the book? You know, it's supposed to be about me and my husband, and we've been married to 80 and 90 years. So I thought, so what do you mean? And then he just asked, he was like, when you going to finish the book? So I did finish it in August of 2025. And I realized that it was really just for me to share my journey of going from being a wife to a godly wife. And it's really focused, and I think it really would help women who want to be married, women who are already married, and for those who are caregiving for their husband. Now, other people can glean from it also, but I think those are the targeted audience. That's the target audience that it's really going to speak to.
So I love the title. I love the concept in the book, especially when you said, because there are so many people out here who idolize marriage and they just feel like that's for them because that's what they hear, but they don't know all the nuances and all the struggles and sacrifices that go along with it. When you talk about being a godly wife, if the person isn't that, or they don't have the spiritual tools, how do you suggest that they hear in order to transition or even start to be a godly wife like you were or are?
Yeah, so I think even for people who may not be believers, it's just a matter of getting your focus off of yourself.
Oh, oh, that's
Yeah,
hard, Lettice. Like, what?
it's just getting your focus off of self
Right,
and putting others, and I'm going to say your husband because that's what we're talking about, and putting
right,
your husband first.
right.
You know, focusing on what is his needs. How can I help him? And you know, I was really blessed with James because James was not a complainer. He would
Okay.
say things once and then just move on. So even like with me not putting pepper on the eggs, he never said anything after the first time he had mentioned he liked pepper on his eggs. So I really just appreciate that he just allowed me to get it on my own. He didn't you know, force it down my throat. But yeah, so I would say that for women who, you don't have to be a believer, but it's just being one who is conscious of others,
Okay.
conscious of your husband, and
Mm-hmm.
being willing to love him in a way that shows that, honey, I do put you first.
Okay. I love that. Now, a lot of people get stuck in the grief cycle where they don't feel like they should move on because it's a betrayal, or they shouldn't move on
Mm.
because I loved my husband and I don't want to have the perception that I didn't. What does that look like for you, Miss Godwoman, as far as dating, thinking of being remarried? Are those things that are moving forward once you are widowed, that it's okay to then move forward in purpose and find another mate?
Yeah, so I have ran into women who have lost their husband and say, they put a time frame on, well, I'm just going to be by myself for 5 years, first. Where I I know I'm a wife.
Right.
That's who God made me to be.
Okay.
So I know I'm going to get married again.
Okay. Right.
So that's not my focus. I'm just going on being me, but I am fully aware of how I'm crafted, how I'm made. I am made to be somebody's helpmeet.
Okay.
And so I'm not out there looking.
Right.
But if he comes my way and finds me, I'm willing to receive it.
Okay.
But that's just comes in knowing who you are and receiving that. And so I'll be married again one day.
So
When, I don't know.
What's next for the God wife, the God woman, the Lettice, the mother, the next wife, the author, the spiritual part of you? What's next for you?
So in 2025, I have learned that I am an actress.
Yes.
So my youngest daughter, she's an actress. She's been acting since she was 6 years old. And we always wondered, like, where did she get this from? Because nobody else in the family. But what happened with me was in February. So my home church that me and my husband went to and where I had his funeral, I did not return to that church in 2024 when he passed.
Okay.
So this is 2025 now in February, and I'm still on the list for to get the robocalls about their women and their girls Bible sessions.
Okay. So
I got to call that Friday, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice and stuff. Saturday morning, I get up, and Holy Spirit tell me, okay, go. And I'm like, what? So I get my grandbaby up, and we go to the women and girls study. So they mentioned that they taking auditions that day for the Kingdom Players is their acting ministry at the church.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice. So me and my grandbabe, we get to the Bible study, we leave, we in Myers, and the Holy Spirit tell me to, okay, go back for the audition. I'm like, what? So I go back because I'm in a stage now where I'm like, really like, okay,
I love the
I want to be obedient. So I go back. And so I just choose any script and I'm up there reading and stuff. So the director tells me, okay, put that down and read the part of Mary Magdalene. And I can honestly say it was just like the Holy Spirit just really just took over. Or maybe I surrendered to the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, right.
And I act that part like I was Mary Magdalene. And it even blew me away.
Oh, now that's the part when it can do something to you.
Yeah, because I never knew I had this in me.
Okay.
So I got the role of Mary Magdalene.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And that was Easter of last year. And then I've been in other little skits through Widows with Wisdom is an organization that I'm a part of.
Okay.
I've done a couple of little skits with them. And then this year, I I'm sorry, I gotta laugh at myself, but I did send in my name to be a oh goodness, I can't remember. Do you know the backstage character, the offstage
Oh, the
character that
ones
doesn't?
that if the main character don't do it, then you do it. Is that what
No. Just in the crowd
Of
scene with
course,
no
yeah,
line.
the extras. Okay,
Yes, thank you, extra. So I applied for extra, so I go for the audition the beginning of next month.
Oh, that's
And
so
so
good.
yeah, so I'm just really just surrendering to this new journey that the Lord is taking me on, because I never thought that I'll be acting.
See, I'm telling you, the new version is the thing that's been in your heart or what the Lord predestined before all the stuff, all of what we say, life be life, and before
Yeah.
all of that happened. Now you're in a space of surrender and let me see where the journey takes me. And
Yes.
like unfolding, which is such an amazing space to be in. I'm telling everybody, like, if cauliflower can be pizza, you can be an actress. Like what?
Right.
There's nothing that you can't do. So I am glad
Mm.
that you are stepping up into the reality of all things being possible. But you have
Yeah.
to know the possibility. Like all you do
Yeah.
is give it to him, and he's like, okay, well, what about this? Like, Lord, this is the season of throwing the spaghetti at the wall. Okay,
Right.
what about this? Maybe I want to try this, and then seeing how it interacts. But y'all, this has been
Yeah.
such a good talk, such a good session, such a good episode. I'm definitely going to
Hey,
have my
Shar,
boy, huh? Huh?
I want to do one thing. So I wrote a poem the end of last year,
Okay.
and I just want to close this out with it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, before she closes out the poem with this poem, because I'm sure it's going to bless us, I wanted her to tell you where you can get the book because it's definitely going to bless people who are on the journey of marriage and connection. So, Lettice, tell us the title. I'm also going to have my editor put it in the tagline, but tell us where we can get it from so that everybody can get a chance to have it.
Yes, the book is From Me to We and Beyond, Journey of a Godly Wife, and it's available on Barnes & Noble and available on Amazon.
Okay. All right. So y'all get ready. We're about to hear, like, y'all get ready for your snaps. I think that's where we got it from. They got this from us when we was back in the day. But
Right.
we're about to listen to this. I'm so excited. I haven't heard it either, y'all. So let's get into it.
All right. Okay. Grief itself can be medicine. Not like in a jar that you just open up and take a sip, but it's deep, deep in your heart. I can feel him on my tongue. I can taste him on my lip. See, my husband passed away in January 2024. It wasn't in my plan when death opened the door, but when I realized grief was medicine, it begged me to choose more. I look back on memories where he made me laugh and crack my side. It was funny because it was just him. He didn't have to try. I love when he got the grill out. He was the head chef and I was his sous. With his spatula and his grill pad, he just knew what to do. So now I'm single, not a wife or a boo. Many days I've sat wondering, Lord, what now do I do? So I wrote a book, Journey of a Godly Wife, sharing how God changed me from the inside, because I caused much of my own strife. So now I'm confessing, I'm learning a lesson, and hopefully sharing a blessing. So someone here can know that grief can be medicine when you allow God and let go.
Baby, that's coffee because it's hotter than tea. That was what, man? You better come on. So now we got a poet, an author, an actress. Y'all gonna see her name. I'm gonna prophesy. Y'all about to see her name all up in lights, and then you're gonna be like, I remember her, but don't be calling me like I need you to give me. No, y'all gonna have to get her book and get it autographed and everything for yourself. So I'm so glad you blessed us with that. It's so many people dealing with grief, not only from losing a husband, but losing a loved one, period.
Yes.
And I feel like what you're talking about can be translated into those areas. So thank you so much for being obedient to the Lord and the Holy Spirit to be able to bless somebody else with the gifts that you're given. So I'm so grateful for that. Y'all,
Thank you.
about to get out of here. This is the Must Be the Mental podcast with Shaaree, your mental health bestie. We are bringing you real women who have real issues that can help you to grow, because we are not alone in this struggle. If you listen and connect with the people, you are going to find that you got help. We are here for you. Again, I will see y'all on Monday. Check out Must Be the Mental. Go ahead and subscribe and like. It's on YouTube and Spotify. Y'all get her book. I'll make sure it's tagged below. Love you for real, for real. And this was Lettice Crawford. See y'all later. Bye, boo.
Bye-bye.